Kshalingo Nialabatustro Vietras Shabalia Avaduta Visha Tata Bhavat Bhagavan Vasya Putro Yadri Chayagam Atmano Nipiska Alakshalingo Nialabatrusto Vitras Chabali Avaduta Visha Tatra Bhagavan Vyasaputro Radrichayagam Atmano Napisha Alakshalingo Nialabatrusto Tastamai Avaduta Shesha Tatra Bhavat Bhagavan Vyasaputro Rikshaganyatmanananiksha Rajachalingo Nitalabatusto Rasatabhaya Bhavaduta Visha Ladies? No. Okay, word for word. Tatra Zaya. Abhayat appeared. Bhagavan powerful. Vyasaputra son of Vyasadev. Yatracha as one desires. Gam, the earth. Atmanaha, while traveling. Anapeksha, disinterested. Alaksha, unmanifested. Linga, symptoms. Niyalabha, self-realized. Tushta, satisfied. Vrita, surrounded. Cha, end. Balai, by children. Avaduta, neglected by others. Vesha, dressed. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. At the moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasadeva, who traveled over the earth disinterested and satisfied within himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. Purport. The word Bhagavan is sometimes used in relation with some of the great devotees of the Lord like Sukadev Goswami. Such liberated souls are disinterested in the affairs of this material world because they are self-satisfied by the great achievements of devotional service. As explained before, Sukadev Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master, nor did he undergo any formal reformatory performances. His father, Vyasadeva, was his natural spiritual master, and because Sukadev Goswami heard Srimad Bhagwatam from him. After this, he became completely self-satisfied. Thus, he was not dependent on any formal process. So formal processes are necessary for those who are expected to reach the stage of complete liberation. But Sri Sukadev Goswami was already in that status by the grace of his father. As a young boy who was accepted to be properly dressed, but he went about naked and was uninterested in social customs. He was neglected by the general populace, and inquisitive boys and women surrounded him as he were a madman. He thus appears from the scene while traveling on earth on his own accord. It appears that upon the inquiry of Maharaj Parikshit, the great sages who were anonymously in the decision as what it was to be done. For spiritual salvation, there were many prescriptions according to the different modes of material persons. But the ultimate aim of life to attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service to the Lord. As doctors differ, also sages differ in different prescriptions. While such things were going on, the great and powerful son of Yasadeva appeared on the scene. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Shakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So thank you for the management for giving me a chance at this holy place of Prayagraj. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami and Anupam were all traveling from Puri and from Bengal towards Vrindavan at some point. Anupam left his body, and two important places were on the way. One is first of all Varanasi, where he met with Sanatana Goswami and Sanatana Shiksha took place. And then the next important place on the way up to Vrindavan is Prayagraj, because he instructed Rupa Goswami at Dashashmaveda Ghat. Why did he choose Dashashmaveda Ghat? Because Mahaprabhu came at the time of Magh Mela and there were great crowds. So he moved away from the Sangam and sat down at Dashashmaveda Ghat. So even the Kumbh Mela itself does not have much scriptural reverence. It is not in the Vedas. It says that at the time of Magh you should have a Mela at Prayagraj. It is a tradition of sadhus who came together. But for us, there is Mahaprabhu who came for Magh Mela and instructed Rupa Goswami, and Srila Prabhupada also came twice and instructed us to conduct a very nice program at Kumbh Mela consisting of book distribution, prasad distribution and Harinam Sankirtan. So the Mahakumbh is coming near, that's why we came here. So also I'm very glad to see. I was doing Padayatra, All India Padayatra from 89 to 99. I walked 2 times around India, so I came 2 times to Prayagraj. And I think the second round I came by, there was a devotee named Madai. That could have been the first round, can't fully remember. And he somehow or another was a very good talker. And he got the ear of the king, and he somehow or another talked him out of this piece of land. It was full of all sorts of tenants, so Madai with all sorts of means got rid of them. Then for some time nothing happened. Where the workers are living now, there was a temple constructed, then that was removed for whatever reason. Then Sopati came into the picture, and very energetically he built the temple we're sitting in now, which was a new model that time. That tin shed temple was something new. We hadn't seen that before. That was his invention, and he put those beautiful deities, and we're still here. And now we see all of you. Krishna has sent all of you, and now something active has happened. So we're sitting in this holy place. There's a very funny story also, that Mahaprabhu went to Vallabhacharya's house. You know about that? And they went by boat, and Mahaprabhu was in a funny mood and he was shaking the boat, and Vallabhacharya got really nervous. So you can go there, Aril Gram, he is there. He had 10 sons, powerful person, He's still very popular all around India. So where we are now in the Bhagwatam, where we're sitting. We're sitting here in Prayagraj. So we're opening the Bhagwatam and we're hearing the Bhagwatam every day. So where are we sitting in the Bhagwatam? So it's a long story, you know, that Parashara Muni was traveling and he came up to a river and he wanted to cross the river by boat. So I guess because the boatman was sleeping, his daughter was on boat duty. Her name was Matsya Ganda. She actually had been found inside a fish. It's very mystical. And Vyasadeva was taking the boat, and you are all upcoming brahmacharis. I don't want to go too much in detail, else she was owing the boat. She moved her body and Parashara Muni got attracted and what would be the English word, seduced her. He created a fog. He actually didn't need to take the boat. He could have also most probably walked on the water. So he created a fog to cover everything up. And afterwards he gave her two blessings. One blessing was that you be a virgin again. And the second, that the Matsya Ganda will be changed with very aromatic scent. Then he created an island. And who was born? Vyasadeva was born. And then Vyasadeva is a literally incarnation of Krishna, and he sat down at a place. You can go there. Anyone has been to Vyas Gufa? Okay, when you travel to Badrika Ashram, where Badri Vishal was performing his pastimes and eating the Badri berries, you go another couple of kilometers up, there's Vyas Gufa, and nearby is Ganesh Gufa. So Vyasadeva compiled the Vedas. The Vedas were not written down before, they were given by memorization. I remember one time with one devotee, Prabhupada disciple Vashu Ghosh, I don't know if you have heard of him. I was the president that time in Pandharpur, I was building the temple there. And he took us to some traditional Gurukul. And what they were doing, nothing else, all day long, they were memorizing the Vedas. That's how it was done. If I would be your father, I mean I have that age, I would have memorized the Veda, and all day long I would teach you to memorize the Veda. And then you would carry on and give it to your son. So Vyasadeva, because Kali Yuga had just started, he had to compile the Vedas. He divided it in four and in subsections, and at the end we all know that he didn't feel satisfied. And along came, who came along? Narada Muni came along. Because originally the four-sloka Bhagavatam had been given by the Lord himself to Brahma. Narada Muni, being a son of Brahma, was injected with that original Bhagavatam, and then he gave it to Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva elaborated. And Vyasadeva had a wife, and after a lot of penances and praying, he's impregnated his wife, and she got pregnant. Jai Sisi Rana Veni Madhava Ki Jai. And she got pregnant, and inside was our Sukadev Goswami. But what happened? He was already self-realized in the womb, and he did not want to come out. So he remained in the womb for 12 years. Krishna himself had to come and asked him to come out. So he came out, and immediately he ran away in the forest. So Vyasadeva was very upset, and he sent some people in the forest to recite Bhagavatam. So like if you I guess send us in the forest, you make a line with Rasagula, so we will follow and come back home. So for him it was the Bhagavatam, and he got the Bhagavatam, and he was just roaming around. So where are we now? Again, I'm coming back to the point. where the Srimad Bhagwatam was originally spoken. Sukratal, there we go, you know where we are. So after now from the other line, there's a long story also. Parikshit, who was already attacked by Brahmastra in the womb, and Krishna himself protected him. Parikshit, so his whole life he was inquiring, because he's seen Krishna in the womb, and then because Kali Yuga had just started, he put the snake around Samiknishik's neck, a dead snake. He came for water, and the sage was in meditation, and the king felt he's disrespected by the sage not offering water, so he put a snake around his head. And then Sringi, his son, heard about that while he was playing with his friends, and he got enraged and he cursed them that in 7 days he will be bitten by a snake and die. And even he could have engaged brahmanas and could have countered that curse. He decided that he had done a mistake and he wanted to atone for that. So he went to that place at the Ganga. He put some, I think, kusha grass on the ground, and which was pointing south, and he was sitting facing north, facing the Ganga, and started to fast. And because he was the emperor of the whole world, sages from all over came, and in those days they were traveling by all sorts of means, so they came all pretty quickly, and they were sitting and they were wondering what to do. And now we're at the scene where we are now. He just came by. So we can say it is not a coincidence of Paramatma, because he was just roaming around, he was naked, and he was thinking his father. The same thing we know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur begot Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as his son, Vimal Prasad, and they were both in the same line of Vaishnava philosophy, and they were fully scholars, both of them, but Bhaktisiddhanta always called his father at some point. That is intimate, is Sri Stangi, so he was thinking he's attached. So same, Sukadev Goswami had a slight note on Vedavyas being attached, so he left his home and was roaming around. And even Vyasadeva was also present here in that assembly, and many other great sages were in the assembly, and there comes a naked young boy, and they've chosen him to speak the Bhagwatam. And that is where Srimad Bhagwatam now, we're basically starting now. This is the first time it is actually spoken to everyone. And we all are greatly benefited by that, because in that invocation to Srimad Bhagwatam, it says that this Srimad Bhagwatam is basically the sun which can eradicate the darkness which is coming by this Kali Yuga. And we can see these days, times are changing. I remember when I came to India, we used to travel by train. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, everyone is awake in the train. Everyone went to the bathroom, everyone brushed their teeth, they maybe didn't take baths, and most of the people do some type of a prayer or something. Now, the boys and the girls, they sleep together on the berths and do whatever they do, and people only wake up 2 minutes before the train pulls in the station. So luckily it was early. If you have a long distance train, some people I've seen sleep like the whole day. So times are changing, but we are benefited. How we are benefited? No, that's not what I mean. In our preaching activity, we are benefited compared to before. It's a simple thing. If I have a liquid and I want to contain that liquid, so I have a glass. So if there's already something in the glass, very difficult for me to put that in that glass. When I came to India and we were running around with Padayatra and distributing books, the most standard answer is, I'm having a Bhagavad Gita and I'm reading Bhagavad Gita. I don't need your Bhagavad Gita because I'm already in knowledge. My grandfather was a Pandit, my father is a Pandit, my Bai is a whatever. So, but now, everyone is fallen and everyone knows there is fallen. My wife is from a Brahmin family, so sometimes she has this now, my kids are grown up now and sometimes we're discussing about marriage and then she's always saying Brahmin family. Her father is a pretty pious man and he's very open-minded because he married his Brahmin daughter to a Malacha. But we can see he worked, first he worked in the defense and then he worked in the telecom. So it is not really, and his father was a lawyer. So that is not really a Brahmin. So in this Kali Yuga everyone is born as a Shudra. But now also we can see that, because this point is coming here, that Sukadev Goswami was free from all cultural events. He just walked out naked. And there is also that situation where they were passing by some women who were taking baths, and when he passed by, they were not covering themselves because he was beyond. And then his father was such a great sage that they would cover themselves. So he is beyond the conception of cultural and of caste. And even we could say this seems to be that Kali Yuga has developed in a negative aspect. I feel that preaching has become more easy. And we can see when I was on Padayatra, sometimes we walk months, maybe 6 months we walk, and we not meet any devotees. Only from one ISKCON temple in Bhubaneswar, we meet the next devotees in Hyderabad, and then we meet the next devotees in Tirupati, and then we meet the next devotees in Chennai. And then from Chennai to Trivatanathapuram, there was a small center with 2 devotees. We don't meet devotees, and from Trivatanathapuram until Belgaum, and then, so like it's going on. But now, so many Padayatras we have, and every 2-3 days in every village, anywhere is a devotee, like we do a lot of college preaching, and maybe we think that many of our college preaching not join in, like you become brahmacharis, but then they will go somewhere, and wherever they are, they will start some preaching, and they will convince. So actually there's a great explosion, the Hare Krishna explosion was there in the West, so this is going on in India. And we can see, as I earlier described, I came here many times, and also in Varanasi, which is even more difficult to preach in places which are dedicated to Lord Shiva. I did a lot of book distribution. So when you do book distribution on Padayatra, I don't know how to say that, you can feel the pulse of the surrounding. So when you come to like Trikalahasti or you come to Varanasi, which where the people have some type of Shiva consciousness, it's very hard to distribute a book, very hard. It's not so. Now we're also developing our branch in Varanasi with the mercy of the Dabur family. Somehow or another, your president is doing it, and I'm very greatly impressed. So we have to be careful. There is a little care here in that purport, and it says that because Sukadev Goswami is free, he is already a liberated soul. Even in some scripture it says that he started out impersonal, and after hearing the Bhagwatam, he became a devotee. So here it clearly says, Srila Prabhupada says, he did not undergo any formal reformatory processes. He did not have a spiritual master, because he was already a liberated soul, because his father was his natural spiritual master, obviously, because he compiled the Bhagwatam and first he delivered the Bhagwatam to him. Well, there's a story of the parrot also, but we don't want to go too deep into the whole process. So on the contrary, we have to be very careful, because we're not fully self-satisfied, we're not fully established in the self. So we have to do sadhana. We have to take a goal, and then we have to progress towards that goal. And Srila Prabhupada has laid it out very simply. We have to wake up, we have to take a bath, we have to come for Mangalati, then we have to chant. 90% of our spiritual progress will come from how we perform our japa and how we progress at that time of the day. Then we have a darshan hati and Guru Puja, class, prasad, service. Then ideally in the evenings there's again an arti. You have Gita class? Yeah, so you have a lot of classes. I think it's a lot of education. That is something which is a great change. I don't want to mention name, but very long back, now basically the revolution of this college preaching, there was one devotee in Sikundrapat, Advaitacharya, disciple of Bhakti Raghava Swami. He came up with the idea, he wrote the first college preaching manual, and then that time Devamrita or Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, they started in Chaupati. Out of that came Radhasham and Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. There were two big fish in a small pond, so he was banished to Pune. Many people had tried themselves on Pune and they all couldn't do it. So if you would send to Pune, I don't know, maybe it was a punishment also to be sent to Prayagraj at some point, you know. Advaitacharya was doing nicely so he was sent to Prayagraj, but now Prayagraj is different, I'm just saying. So he was sent to Pune, and he made a miracle out of this college preaching. So a couple of presidents before him, the president, I don't say the name, was from Orissa, and he was sitting in this temple without devotee. So what his preaching strategy was to go in the evening to the railway station and find some people who came from Orissa to find a job and who ran out of money and ended up at the railway station. So he would take them to the temple and feed. He made 2 brahmacharis out of that, which are still around. So hey, see. So, but I'm just saying, things were different, and now things are different. Krishna has a plan, and we all are part of that plan. I don't know how much you can see it. I spend a lot of time just in the temple, and even I'm traveling, but nothing much is happening. But if you're on Padyacha, or if you take a risk for Krishna, then you see the little miracle happened. And when you see the miracle happen, then you see how Krishna has planned every tiny single step. So I'm not that prepared. I'll tell it. The other day I was at home and I was meditating. His Holiness Satchidananda Swami usually spends his Kartik in Radhakund, Govardhan area. He chants 64 rounds and pretty much doesn't do many programs. Then the last day after Kartik, the first day after Kartik, he comes to Vrindavan and gives a Bhagwatam class. So 2 times already I was able then to bring him to my home for lunch. So last year he said, let's do that in every year program. But I was not leaving my home. I had traveled for almost 1 year continuously. I was just sitting at home. Even Mangalati, I just opened the computer. I was not willing to go out. I had also some stomach problem. So I had to meet his secretary. And I was meditating and desiring, but I was thinking I'm never going out, so I'm always going to meet that Mataji. I had her number, but I wanted to meet her in person. So then one old Prabhupada disciple got sick at Radhakund, and somehow another the duty ended up on me to help him. So we went there by vehicle to pick him up, to bring him to Bhaktivedanta Swami Hospital. And on the way back, I seen Parikrama, Rajmandal Parikrama. I got down, I spent some time with my friends, met some of the Maharajas, and then I was wondering how I'm going to go back. And 2 times I wanted to cross the street to stop something, but every time somebody called me back. And finally I went on the other side of the road. I stopped the first vehicle, the vehicle stopped, somebody came out, said, please sit in the front. I was ready to enter in the back. And then when we started driving, I heard that lady speaking in German, and I turned around, and it was Sachinanda Maharaj's secretary. So it is those little things where we're seeing. I mean, you're aware of that. I mean, what is ever happening here is a miracle. So Krishna has planned it very much out. And sometimes we take great seminars on management and how to do and what to do. But basically, I think the best management is to be Krishna conscious and to understand what is Krishna's desire, to leave our ego loose enough that Krishna can use us as his instrument. And then what is there what Krishna cannot do? I remember long back when I was building the temple in Pandharpur, was a great struggle, and I was a little bit bewildered what to do, and I met His Holiness Radhanath Swami in Mumbai, and he said that very same thing. He said, see, Sanak Sanatana, everyone has a potency to do something. Some a little less, we need the squirrel was bringing the dust. When they were making the bridge to Lanka, Hanuman was laughing, the little squirrel was rolling in the dust and he was going and shaking, and the dust was falling in the cracks to fill up. So Hanuman made a joke on the little squirrel, and Ram chastised him and picked up the squirrel. That's why they still have stripes. So it doesn't matter what is, so everyone has their potency. So as long as we are not fully surrendering, even maybe we are very big people. Some of us are very big, we have very powerful karma, we can move a lot of matter. But he said, what is there what Krishna cannot do? If you surrender and Krishna can use you as your instrument, then what is there what cannot be done? And I remember I went back in that consciousness and to Pandharpur. I think in 6 months we built that temple, fatafat. I had no money when I started. Nothing. I had never built a temple. I wasn't a construction person. Now people see me as a construction person. I started with that. And then after the opening, my wife went to Livery for the second son. So she was, and I was alone at home in that little room there in Pandharpur. And I realized, I could see that for almost 1 year I had worked from morning to evening, not thinking anything. I seen how Krishna had used me. Anyhow, as a benefit, he sent me to Vrindavan. I got a promotion from Pandharpur down to Vrindavan down. So I will stop here. I wasn't very much prepared and I'm a little sleepy. I would very much like if there's some questions. I like a question and answer session. So if anyone has a question, preferably on the subject. Yes, Prabhu.
In the starting you explained that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Sangam. So basically in Vaishnava culture, we don't prefer to doing something karma kanda also. Mahaprabhu came for something like that.
Mahaprabhu traveled, like all the Goswamis, as they explained. They were all coming from Puri and from Bengal. They were on the way to go to Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu also was here, and Magh Mela, it is written in the months of Magh. So Magh Mela was going on, and it is also described that he left from that place, from the Sangam area, because there was too many people was there to Ashram Veda Gach to give Rupa Shiksha. What is the exact question?
My question was why Mahaprabhu came to that Prayagraj in that particular time period?
I guess because it was Magh Mela and because he was already on the way. It is not written that Mahaprabhu came there to meet the sadhus at Magh Mela. but he was here in the month of March, and we are aware that March Mela was already happening, and the description is there that he went to this particular place because there were too many people. Too many people in those days was different than too many people these days, I guess. Maybe if there were like 500,000 people, this was too many people. Is that okay? All right. Sure. Anyone else?
What was the application of what Maharaj was telling you about that everyone has some potency?
Okay. You're Brahmachari, but you ever heard about astrology? You know, you're Indian, you know about astrology? So you will find somebody like, we have a simple example. This Modi ji was some small guy from some village, I think he's even backward caste or whatever. He was a very simple man, and he had the potency within himself to become the prime minister, not only once but now twice. So he has a potency. So every one of us, according to our past deeds, when we come into this body has a potency. Let's say you give me some weight, I can lift a particular weight, he can lift more weight, he's skinny, he can lift, so everyone has a particular potency, has his karma. So according to his karma, you can perform a certain amount of activity. That is the potency which is inbuilt. He said according to your karma, he did use that word. But if you become surrender and Krishna can use you as his instrument, he said, then what is there what Krishna cannot do? So ultimately this whole process of sadhana bhakti is aiming at that. Many times devotees misunderstand. They're thinking, once I become a devotee, I'm free of karma. And they even think when my karma stops that now I'm independent. But that's not what it is. That the stringent laws of karma will opening up and Krishna will come and move you. It's not that now the karma is stopped, hey, I can do whatever I like, I can go left or right. That's not what it is. And Krishna takes over. And then what cannot be all done? We see extreme examples as Srila Prabhupada. Krishna literally planted all sorts of big devotees. So when he came to US, they all became devotees. And nobody just by association becomes a Jayapataka Swami or Radhanath Swami. This will take many lifetimes to bring that many devotees with you who all become your disciples. So it is almost like a lila. So we are not that powerful, but anyone who fully surrenders and Krishna can use him as an instrument, then basically the sky is the limit, isn't it? So is that okay?
How we can understand what is surrender, fully surrender? It is a state of consciousness, or it is a kind of our actions is involved.
No, it is not the actions, no. It is a mixture of both. So I'm a German citizen, and if I would like to become an Indian citizen, at some point I have to surrender my German passport. But it is not guaranteed that I get Indian citizenship. So I will follow the process, and at some point I don't know what will happen. So Srila Prabhupada gives us a relatively rigid regiment of sadhana which we're supposed to perform, but you can't get Krishna bhakti by doing a particular sadhana. Let's say I want to go to Vaikuntha. Okay? If I follow every single Ekadasi throughout my life, I'm ultimately, it's a phala, it's a fruit. You perform some activity and then the fruit is guaranteed. There's this Aditi is performing a particular sadhana, and then ultimately you know that if I'm performing the sadhana perfect, at the end I will definitely get the result. But Krishna Bhakti is not like that. It is like that surrendering your passport, and that's not easy. So it is a consciousness. It is a consciousness. First of all, you know, there's simple things. You get free from gross sex desires, and your profit, alteration, and distinction. Very difficult. Kuti nati, then you know, duplicity, all the different. It is there, you know. Shraddha to prema. The different layers are there. So at some point, you are totally free, liberated. As we see, as Sukadev Goswami, he was liberated. He was, so even you still do the same thing, you know. It's very difficult to describe. Being from Vrindavan, we had a little bit more of an insight, but basically at some point it's just changing. And that is still, from there to be actually to become Krishna's instrument, that is a whole nother level. So first you do sadhana, and in the beginning you struggle, you have to control your mind, then eventually the mind will become your friend. The mind like to be a devotee, and then the heart is slowly cleansing, and then this consciousness, yeah. It's conscious, a mixture. We are saying that the Ragatmika Bhakta is behaving same like the sadhaka. The same thing. We don't want to disturb everyone. Even the liberated devotee maybe, we know some of our swamis can be quite eccentric sometimes. That doesn't mean anything because they're liberated already. So it's a long process. Is that okay? No, not sure exact the nature of it. See, I remember when I came in contact with Krishna conscious, was very fast. I was good for nothing, I was a punk, I was smoking and drinking and taking heavy drugs and selling drugs, what not all, whatever bad thing you can imagine, living in a house with who knows how many people having party every day. So one day I just seen something, being on some intoxication, I stopped eating meat, drinking, smoking, this, that, and then I fasted for 1 week. I met the devotee on Friday. He gave me first canto Srimad Bhagwatam. On Saturday I met the devotees on Harinam. I was not knowing that it's related. Then on Sunday I went to the program and they make me eat prasadam and give me a mala. So from Monday on I was chanting. So it went pretty fast. So past life thing. But then after I came in contact with the devotees, that's what I want to come to. So I was thinking in a couple of months I'm Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But now I'm 35 years later. It is rather opposite. So older you get, so more you realize your insignificance and how you're not that or this. So it is. So the process is different. We're not getting bigger, we're getting smaller. So to the previous question, so smaller you feel, so more near you to the point where Krishna can use you as an instrument. I know very well, when you go in Vrindavan for Mangalati in the morning, you know, sometimes you get the mercy. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get the mercy, you can feel, and it usually doesn't have any particular cause. But if you analyze it over a longer stretch of time, when you are actually feeling, not thinking, you're actually feeling insignificant, then you can get the mercy. Unlimitedly. So more that is. So that's what you're looking for. It's a consciousness where profit, alteration and distinction, social ideas and reforms are gone away. Even you still follow them for the external sake of, but in your heart it is gone away. Alright? Anyone else? Jai. Gantaraj Srimad Bhagwatam ki Jai. ISKCON Prayagraj Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you for giving me a chance. It's good for me giving a class. If not,